Hey, Bitcoin's crashing. There's no other good way to talk about it. But that's why we're here. We're looking to catch up on our retirement, and Bitcoin is the apex asset of our portfolio. So that's why we watch it. That's why we talk about it each week to find out where is the market. But are we losing sleep about it? No, especially if are we 5, 6, 7, 10, 15 years out from needing this money in retirement? Then we're not that worried about it. But I think it's healthy to understand where the markets are. So that's what we're doing here today. Let's get started. All right, let's share the screen here. Let's get into it. All right, so 874 million were liquidated in 24 hours. Now, this was last week. We're even lower. We're going to talk, some of these slides are going to be a little outdated, but I've got one that talks about current market conditions as of June 4th. But we've been going down in Bitcoin and the crypto markets. But again, we're not here to panic. We're here to understand what's going on. So let's get into it. All right, let's move to the next slide. All right, so welcome to the Freedom Life Show. Again, I'm Jay Scott, and we don't have hype here. We certainly don't have panic here. We're just getting clarity. We're just going to see where the markets are, and we're going to be able to sleep really well at night because we got a plan. We got a long-term plan, and let's just take a look here. So Bitcoin has been selling off, and it's really its sharpest sell-off since 2022. And so we're going to look at the data. We're going to look honestly and see what's going on, and we're going to translate it all into language that we can all understand. So let's rock and roll. All right, so here's what happened. Bitcoin fell below 73,000. Ethereum dropped below 2,000, and it's actually continuing today. We are somewhere in the 60. Let's see. I had a current one here today. What are we? 63. So yeah. I bounced forward here too fast. So what happened? So basically, we've got liquidations again. So you got people that are going long on leverage, and they're getting pushed out of the market by all of the market makers and what market makers do and the market tries to do. Again, we're not liquid. We don't liquid. We are not perp traders. We don't go long on leverage. We buy spot either Bitcoin or our blue chip cryptos, and then we hold them long term. So we just want to know where the market is. So if we are coming up on that 5 years to needing that money, we might want to know where the market is so that when the market is up and we have to sell within that 5 years, we need to sell a little bit of buffer. We're nowhere near there. We're at market lows right now. And for crypto, stock market's still doing great. So we're just watching the market now. But basically ETFs, people were moving in and out of those. It's all right. Again, this is what Wall Street is doing. We've got this bid for Bitcoin that's going to come in and come out as Wall Street traders and people do. But we still see this long-term bullish desire for Bitcoin in the future. And I think it's going to range here in the 60 range for a while, 60, 70, 80. And retail is sleeping. People like you and me, we're not sleeping because we're buying our Bitcoin. We're buying it now because if you have long-term conviction, which I do, and I think you do too, well, we know Bitcoin is going up. So it's on sale right now. So the fear and greed index is at 22. So yeah, things are looking kind of scary out there. So, but here's where it gets really strange. So while crypto is bleeding, the stock market's still going crazy. Now we've had a little bit of news about Iran and the Iran war and about oil. Oil's coming back up again, so it might be holding off the market a little bit. But really, the S&P last week gained over 2.6%. The NASDAQ gained over 3.68%. And the stocks posted their second best rally in history at 17.3% in 8 weeks. So yeah, while Bitcoin is supposedly crashing, the NASDAQ is partying. So what is this correlation thing? I don't really know anymore because sometimes it's correlating to stocks, Bitcoin, sometimes it's not. So we'll see. But let's move on. Let's keep talking about it. So again, I mentioned the fear and greed index is at 22. So this is a chart that we'll continue to look at because, you know, it tells us kind of where the market is feeling right now, and it's not feeling happy. So this is a picture of the ETF flows. So as you know, when the ETFs were granted in 2024, totally new picture. We've got now Wall Street, people that didn't want to have crypto wallets, Bitcoin wallets. They can now easily just buy Bitcoin in the ETF. They don't get the actual Bitcoin, but they get exposure to the price of Bitcoin in their ETF, and a lot of brokers are having people have that. So again, the war is scaring everybody, so some people are moving out of that. It's going to bounce back and forth. I'm not sure when we get a resolution to this war. The stock market sort of has built that in already, that the war is going to end soon, but it's still languishing. Oil prices are going up, and so Bitcoin is really being a little bit touchy to this. So there's some other issues out there, but right now it's a geopolitical situation, and we're just kind of keeping an eye on the market. Excuse me. So again, let's look at this chart where we were looking at the 200-day moving average, and again, it rejected off of that. It's moved down pretty good, pretty hard. We were looking for support here at 65,000, and no, we are moving further down. In fact, I'm just going to pull up this slide. So this is current as of June 4th. So you can see we're way down, moving way down below the 200. Now we're approaching this yellow line, which is the 200-week moving average. So that's another typical support line. We'll see if we get there, either 61, 63. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I think that we'll probably bounce off of this. And if we go below, then we'll check it before. But it was down at 60 before. There were a lot of people calling for it to return down to 60. A lot of people said it wouldn't do that it's definitely going to go up. But again, this is Bitcoin. Nothing really surprises us. We're still not in the 80% drawdown like we've had in past cycles. So I still don't think there's anything to get too worried about. So this was, again, the red ETF outflows. But look at all those green inflows early in April and May. And we're just having this downturn, and it's normal. It is normal. This is the cumulative picture. So this is the Bitcoin ETFs. Cumulative net flow is still enormously positive. Short-term outflows we're seeing right now are a blip on this chart, and this chart is trended sharply upwards toward the launch, like I said. So you can see that. So this is still positive news. Nothing to freak out about. This talks about the liquidity story. So basically, it shows what happens to leverage traders during the sell-off. 874 million in long positions were liquidated in 24 hours. And these traders who borrowed money to bet on Bitcoin that it would go up, they got wiped out. And it's a bloodbath here. CoinMarketCap tracked more than 10,000 Bitcoin that were transferred to exchanges at a loss in May, with an average entry price of 78,444 and a spot price around 76,900. That's roughly a 2% loss. This is actually even a little bit old data as of June 4th. This is probably even worse at this point. But look at the stock market. This is what's interesting about it. So stocks gained 12% in more than 8-week period. Stocks are higher even 12 months after the last streak. And so we've got this 8-week rally, and it's up 17.3%. So I don't know. This is quite interesting, as the stock market doesn't really care about the war, it seems like, and the oil prices. All they care about is AI and all of the GDP gains and the profit that everyone's going to get in AI. So we'll see. I think it's definitely going to happen. But wow, the stock market is crazy. So Bitcoin is flat for the month of May. It was down roughly 12% year to date. So yeah, not been a great year. We're in a bear market as far as I'm concerned. And we'll see what happens now is that we're hitting back down around 60. You know, this, we'll see about this. If you ever watch Banter's, Banter's, Banter's Take, he thinks that this is the final nail in the coffin on the narrative of digital gold. And that, because gold is doing really well right now. Oil prices are going up. People are buying gold and they're not buying Bitcoin. And so he's like, it's not behaving. Bitcoin's not behaving like a safe haven anymore. It's trading like a high beta stock. And, but, you know, it's still a little bit disconnected from the NASDAQ, I think. But I would agree that now as Wall Street is moving in and retail traders and investors aren't really participating, it's not that interesting to average retail anymore. We are seeing it like trading like this high beta NASDAQ or tech stock. And I'm not thrilled with that. I think that there's a complete difference and that Bitcoin should be looked at as a hedge. It's hard money. It's got all the attributes of gold, but better, lots better. It can be divisible, way better and easier than gold. You can't take your gold bars with you across the border very easily, if at all, but you can with your Bitcoin. It's divisible so easily down to the, down to the Satoshi, the hundredth of a millionth of a sat. It's just got so many better qualities than gold, but gold's been around for over 2,000 years. So like Bitcoin is 18 years, 19 years. So it's going to take some time. And I think every year we're going to get more people that are gold bugs that are going to say, hey, let me put a little bit into Bitcoin. And it's going to slowly grind up. And that's what I'm hoping for because I'm a long-term investor and still totally believe in Bitcoin. So look, we're not traders here. We don't have Bloomberg terminals here. We're long-term holders. So we're not really worried about this liquidation stuff that happens at 2 a.m. in the morning. And if you're trying to build your financial freedom in the second half of your life, you've got probably 10, maybe 20 years. So again, a lot of this is noise, but I do want to come on here and just say, here's what's going on. Don't worry. And if you are within this 4 or 5 window when you're going to need some of that money, just be aware of where we are right now. It's not a good time that you want to be selling. Once we sort of get up to equaling the all-time high of Bitcoin again, then we can think about maybe selling a year or two of expenses because we're getting close to that retirement. We'll talk about that later as the price gets back up there. If you're not, if you still have 10, 15, 20 years, this is all just noise. But I think it's good to pay attention. You're going to learn what drives the market, which never hurts. So we'll keep plugging along. So, these headlines like extreme fear and billions, they flow out. It's a crash. Again, nothing to worry about. It is interesting. We're going to talk probably more and more about this, but there is a liquidity draw. I think that's also part of the reason that Bitcoin is going down is that the AI narrative, SpaceX, Anthropic, OpenAI, these are all going to IPO this year. I think a lot of people are thinking about, look, I'm not that fired up about Bitcoin anymore, but I'm really fired up about AI and Anthropic and SpaceX going public. Let's sell some Bitcoin and move that into, or have cash on hand so I can move it into these new IPOs. Don't think that's a great idea, guys. Basically, all the people that have already got their hands in these pre-IPOs, their money in there, they've got a lock for 6 months after it goes public, and a lot of them are going to sell, and the price of these will go way down. So personally, for me, I'm interested. I'm long-term bullish on SpaceX, on Anthropic and OpenAI. SpaceX for sure. I'm a big fan of Musk, and I've got Tesla holdings, and I'd love to get some SpaceX. They may merge, so we'll see what happens there, and that would be fine with me. But if not, I'm going to wait till the SpaceX stock comes back and settles. So it may be a good year before that may happen. And they may merge with Tesla in the meantime. But again, these are catch-up stocks. These are catch-up assets besides Bitcoin that I'm interested in. And so I follow the narrative of AI, and I think you should too. So I think that Bitcoin has underperformed this year, the S&P, and underperformed for 142 days. That's the longest stretch ever recorded. It's painful. I get it. But understand what Bitcoin is all about. Understand that it is the future, and it is going to be an asset that Wall Street wants, that other governments are going to want. It's going to take time. So hold your horses. It's going to be fine. The war is going to muck things up a little bit here. Oil prices are going to muck things up here. And again, Wall Street, just now that they're holding a lot of Bitcoin and these, it's just a different animal than it was maybe 5-10 years ago. A lot of those people are probably out of it by now, or they're long-term holders and are never going to sell. And so this is flushing out, and we're going to just see this slow creep upward. That's my opinion. So I'm still a big believer. Gold, gold's doing its thing, and it's fine. I just think that more and more people that really like gold, invest in gold, are going to slowly come over to Bitcoin, at least a little bit, and I think that's just going to be good. So I'm a gold fan. I don't hold any gold because I just think Bitcoin is better than gold. But right now, not everybody believes in Bitcoin, but it's going to slowly change, and I think that's fine. All right, so we're not panic selling. We're definitely not freaking out here just because the number's going down. We're going to look at the fear and greed index, and we're going to say, look, we don't care. We're long-term investors, and so there's no panic selling. If it goes below 60. We're still not freaking out. I mean, until it's down to $10 or whatever, there's no freaking out, at least going on here. And, well, I certainly don't believe that that's going to happen. There's just too many reasons, too many tailwinds that are going to be pushing Bitcoin forward, going to be pushing the crypto narrative, although not all of them. Most crypto is trash. I've already said that before. But you've got the future blockchain rails that we're going to pull in a lot more finance as we do more tokenization. As we do, AI and agents are going to start trading back and forth. They've got to run on blockchain rails. So which of the blockchains are they going to run on? Is Ethereum, Solana, Sui? I've got all three of those betting, on the future. But the rest of it, kind of crazy, speculative. I'm not really into that at this point. I also keep an eye on tech stocks. What's going to be going up in the next 5-10 years. I think the AI narrative is definitely going to be there. Are we in AI bubble? Who the heck knows? But man, the stock market doesn't seem to care. But just understand that if you've got more than 5 years, even if we have a tech bubble blowout, you'll be fine. The market's going to come back in, max 3 years, 2 years. I mean, it's just not like, the markets aren't like they used to be. After 2008, things have all changed. We're not going to be in these long-term, multi-year, or decade-long market crashes. Excuse me. I mean, things are different. The Fed, the government, they just don't allow it to happen. They print money, and as they print money, assets go up. So it's good for long-term investors. So we'll just keep plugging along here. Hey, I got a couple really cool documents that I want to give you just to give you some clarity behind this whole catch-up strategy. One I call the wrong asset manifesto. And this is basically, you don't have a savings problem. You've got the wrong asset if you haven't been investing in Bitcoin in these catch-up assets. So go ahead and I'll put a link in the description for the wrong asset manifesto. Go ahead and pop in there, grab that, and then let me know what you think. I mean, what do you think of this manifesto that talks about if you're behind and you haven't caught up on your savings and your retirement, Bitcoin is a super, super good way to go, and there's all sorts of reasons why. And if you don't, ask questions here in this channel, and because we're here to learn and educate. Again, this is the catch-up. This is the catch-up channel. This is Freedom Life future, especially if you're trying to catch up on your retirement. So we'll see you next week. Bye for now.